Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 78 entitled Matrix Different Reality or Different Realities, where it's the seventh chapter and theme for which today we're going to talk about empathy and non-violent communication. This is extremely important because it allows you to change your perception of reality, considering the fact there are different realities, different angles of vision, and to try to build something different affecting your reality and the reality of most of people. Well, we often hear the world would be better if everybody would think the same in the same way than me. Okay, so, but everybody in parallel is scared on, for example, a movie or a dystopia for a book and so on, if everybody would be like a clone, having the same standard mentality, with the same opinion and so on. It would be very boring. Okay, so same, imagine a dinner for which everybody, nobody has any opinion. Okay, no opinion, no interest, no ideas and so on. It would be, there wouldn't be any exchange, any interaction, and therefore any enrichment. Okay, so, you know, by extension, being in harmony for your honeymoon in Seychelles, in Paradise Islands, okay, without any constraint, with the beautiful weather, with no invoice, with no stress of your work, with no, you are not tired, this is not difficult because it's sanitized, okay? It's the same principle that is very easy to be Zen at 5,000 meters in Himalaya when you have a wonderful landscape and your daily action is only to meditate, for example. You don't have the pressure of your hierarchy, you don't have the violence of your colleagues, the subway, the insecurity in town, and so on and so forth, okay? So, actually, this is the principle that some people think I will be happy when all conditions will be combined. Okay, I would be happy if I have the perfect job, the perfect family, the perfect everything. Okay, it doesn't exist. If we don't have problems, is that we are dead. Okay, so we always have some. And the principle that I will be in harmony if in a sanitized situation is fake harmony. Okay, so it's easy to be peaceful and in harmony when people like you. Okay, when people embrace your ideas. Okay, and we can see in the forums, in the debates, most of people try to convince other people. Okay, and they want just to win and to be the winner in the Darwinism, okay, like Darwinism, but Darwinism, the fact to be the winner of the war, because it's a kind of battle, okay, for which is a fight, and people want to reassure and to comfort themselves that they are right, and they want to be liked, and to that some new people adhere to their ideas. But once again, if everybody would think in the same way than you, it would be boring. I like to say, and is part of a sentence in sentences of Saint Thesis that you can download from our website. It's for free, it's in English, for which there is 100 sentences, and they are animation, let's say illustration. And this one is a yin and a yang with cats, two cats playing, or let's say fighting a little bit, but creating a dynamic. Why? Because the principle of Taoism is this, is not, is in movements, okay? As I explained, in the Gulf Stream, the warm current of the water and the cold current creates the dynamic of the Gulf Stream, allowing the climates, okay? Otherwise, the season and so on. Otherwise, life wouldn't be possible. What does it mean? Thanks to the differences, life is possible. Otherwise, a homogenized world wouldn't be possible. This is the principle of the Babel Tower in the Genesis. Okay, so I wrote this as paradoxical as it may seem. no one is ever entirely right or completely wrong. It is like yin and yang are bickering for no reason, but nevertheless embodying their reason for being in order to turn the wheel of existence. Existing, to exist, means to separate. So the reason of being of our existence is that everybody is doing his job, to create this dynamic, that's why even the useful idiot is useful because it shows what you don't want. How do you know the true I am? You know what you are thanks to the fact you encounter, you meet the difference, what you are not or what you don't want. Otherwise, you don't know. If you don't taste something, how do you know that you don't like? It's the same principle. So existing means to separate. We come from the great whole. We have been separated through the incarnation. We are down to earth for that, to find it back, this unity that we are coming from. So, but it's a existential point. So, then, actually, once again, if everybody would think the same, it would be really boring. French writer said the following, it's Marc Levy, he say, talking about God expressing himself, I created the difference so that humanity cultivates intelligence. An homogeneous word would have been sad to die for. Died for, I'm not sure of the translation, means super boring. You die as it is so boring. Baal Shem Tov, a great Jewish mystic, said the following, the man next to you is your mirror. If your own face is pure, the image you perceive will also be perfect. On the other way around, if you see a defect in the man next to you, it is your own imperfection that you discover. It is shown to you that's what you have to correct about yourself. Sham of Tabriz is the teacher of Rumi, the great Sufi. He said the following, it is so easy to love the perfect, spotless and infallible God that he is. It is much more difficult to love our fellow human beings with their imperfection and faults. Without loving God's creation, one cannot sincerely love God. And personally, I can add as well, proselytism is imposing one's vision on others when everything depends on our point of view. So, standardizing life would be like imposing a one-size-fits, all black and white, uniform on everyone when fashion advocates differentiation. But isn't the living being multifaceted, evolving and multicolored? Question mark. Well, the remedy for that, because everything, you understand, everything is a question of angle, of vision. Perception is like the Rubik's Cube. I say many times, I show the face, you're gonna say to me it's yellow, I'm gonna say no, it's bullshit, is green or is blue, and this guy will say it's red, and then we have a battle for that. Is a question of perception, perspective, according to your point of view, education, culture, religion, language, and so on and so far. So we are limited. Though the goal is, and we can understand also that we don't understand each other. We can understand that we don't have the same opinion or feeling. The taste, for example, we have different tastes. It's like this, So, but one of the, let's say the remedy and the solution for that is what we call empathy. Empathy, and the practical technique for that is the nonviolent communication. I personally teach empathy for many years in Bali, in the orphanage, and is a part of a new program for revolutionary school, that I built up a few years ago, for which there are 20 different disciplines. One of them is empathy and nonviolent communication. So I use it for the orphanage, for the new program, also for MBA business schools, for developing their critical, let's say, sense. Also for negotiation, for management as well. I use to do it also, and to use it for, I'm CEO of 2 different companies. So in Shanghai, I have staff, some people, and sometimes conflict management and so on. So I need to apply that operationally, and I do that for many years. In Denmark, it is an official course, a class, since 1993. So there, in advance, I can consider, because it allows more tolerance. It should be part of all school programs in all countries for me. Education is the foundation of a new social and societal building, and it's a public interest. For me, it's the springboard for a new era, for a new civilization, for a new peaceful world, respecting the differences, not making homogeneous. So what is it concretely? In 2 phases. The first one is to penetrate the integrated system of someone, okay, to understand what the other person feels, needs, integrated the past, the education, the sensitivity, the culture, the character, and so on and so forth. And thereby to understand his acts or action, behavior, and beyond, to know better how to adapt, okay? To adapt and to have better communication, to have more compassion, and also tolerance. The second aspect is, so this is towards the person or someone or a group of person, and then it's when you unveil, okay? You unveil, you explain, you open up your heart, okay? Your feelings, you do an introspection, and there you explain, you express your feeling and what you want and what you need. Concretely, it's based on 2 things, needs and feelings. Concretely, first you explain what you are feeling, okay, according to a situation, a conflict and so on. You're feeling, okay, how you perceive things, okay, what you have inside your heart, okay, your feelings first, and then your needs, your solution, what you expect, and so on and so forth. And the person in front of you is doing exactly the same. So you put on the table everything, okay? The person will tell you his feeling and his needs, okay? So, for example, okay, when my feeling, when you say to me that, I've been really touched, okay? So that's why I give you back this aggression, because I was a little bit aggressive because of this, because it's a part of my childhood, and so on. So, and then people are talking and expressing themselves. So, this is actually, you know, the reason for being of this nonviolent communication in general, and empathy, is the fact to make smoother the communication in general. Then to have better convey messages, okay, less frustration, less ambiguity, less conflicts, okay, to make smoother the relationship and the interaction, to be yourself harmoniously, and to be more peaceful personally and collectively with other people. The application, the background is almost everything. The conflict management, mediation for a couple, for friendship, for at work, with a team members, with your subordinates, your boss, and so on, okay? With intra-communities, or within a community, intra-communities with, I don't know, Muslim and Jews, Catholic and Protestants, and so on and so forth. This is to resume the social fabric, basically, okay? For diplomacy, okay, between countries. It's avoid jealousy, misunderstanding, prejudice, and so on. We have to know that most of the wars, the conflict, even the daily conflict that we have, are a problem of perception and problem of misunderstanding and miscommunication. Okay, so that's why I insist so much. Empathy and non-violent communication is the cement of the building of a new society, and more peaceful, of course. So the principle and the functioning is, as I say to you, is showing your needs and your feelings, and the other person is doing the same. So you put on the table and you try to discharge neutralize. Okay, one of the guy who put the name of nonviolent communication is Rosenberg, but let's say it's like we say that synchronicity is coming from Carl Jung. It's all, the concept is all like humanity. Okay, so Jesus, Buddha, all the prophets used it. Okay, Martin Luther King also, Gandhi, and so on and so forth. Well, but let's say the principle is the following. First, observation. You see the facts. It's factual. It's just with detachment, with no judgment. Then the needs. Okay, what you need, your values, your affects, your morality, and so on. Values and appreciation. Then your feelings. Okay, express your feelings, knowing that there are especially 4 kinds of emotions. If we summarize, 4 emotions. The first one is angriness, when you are angry. Second one is when you are sad. Third one, when you are anxious. And fourth, when you are happy, knowing that there is 3 negative ones and only 1 positive one. So 25% to be positive. Well, then the request, your demand, your proposal, a wish, a contract, a commitment, the basis of further discussion and an exchange, and so on and so forth. So it's the fact to concede and also to conceal as well. Okay, so it's important to avoid disempowerment. Empowerment means disempowerment means is not my fault, is only his fault, or to feel guilty as well. Okay, you know, it's most of the people when you are confident for a couple, for friendship, and so on. If you listen to someone, that he will never say, or she will never say, I did very bad things and so on. It's normal. That it's really rare. Huh? Most of the time, the person is putting with, the elements with the filter, okay, the black filter, and that's why it's always ambiguous and always delicate to take part of it. Very important to be aware about the words you use, because sometimes they can kill more than, even if it's not your intentions. That's why it's very important to do feedback and to rephrase and to say differently, different ways, and so on. You know, the people are mirrors, I say many times, and this is important to understand what is not set up and what is not solved within. Okay, I'm always saying, if you are touching someone who has been burned with a caress, he will suffer. Okay, it's the same thing. Some people are aggressive because, and you didn't say anything bad, but because a word, like a Pavlov word, in psychology, it brings something from the past. Okay, so it's not your fault, but that's why it's important to try to know. The movie Crash, okay, with Sandra Bullock, try to explain this. The fact that most of the conflict of people, nobody is bad, but actually it's notion of communities and so on, and everybody is suffering. And actually there is something, we come into conflict to get in touch and to be sure that we are still alive. And unfortunately, it's not that wrong in the sense that a lot of people are looking for conflict to be more alive. You know, there is 2 ways to, either you build, either you destroy or you maintain. But there are different techniques to manage your mood and also to change the reality and your reality. First is anger tantrum. Okay, when you are really upset, it's better just to isolate. Okay, to take it easy. Okay, to listen to your anger. Okay, to breathe properly and to observe your feeling and to analyze it. Okay, why? Is there injustice? There is missing things, and you need to clean up this. Okay, then it's very important to distinguish your emotions and the facts. Okay, it's factual or I'm not objective. Okay, I know it's difficult to apply that by yourself, but try to do the maximum possible. Then to reformulate the facts with a notion of feedback, and especially in terms of a conflict on when you try to do diplomacy. If I understood properly, you said that, you announced that, this point, am I correct, and so on. And then people, when they understand that we listen to them through the active communication like this, it's already showing a proof of an effort that you try to listen and you try to solve the problems, okay? And even that, you can also say that, okay, we have no interest, both of us, to keep this to be resentful and to keep this anger. This is bad for you, for your health, it's bad for mine. Let's try to find some solution. No need to become best friend, but at least, this is what I say sometimes, when at the extreme, when I manage conflict with my employees, and it's happened in the past, well, they are not in the company anymore, but I was trying to explain, okay, I put everything on the table, and at the end, when they really don't want, I say, okay, be professional at least. I don't want that you kiss each other, you go on holidays together, but at least you're professional. You take on yourself, okay, you try to avoid, but you need to help each other, and you need also, because I see that as a manager, as a boss of the company, I want a collaboration, okay? Those who are playing in a football team, they help each other to put, the goal is to put the goal. It's the same principle. So, then to try to analyze the common points, okay? The bridge for which they are, both parties on the same way. Like this, it's capitalizing on positive aspects. Then to thank in the absolute, for the fact that the others are representing a mirror trying to teach you something, okay? We are mirrors through our reflection. We inspire each other mutually and infinitely. This is what I say with Baal Shem Tov, the man next to you is your mirror if you face, and so on. Okay, so the complete approach is the fact to take a breath, okay, to be patient, to take, to identify the judgments and who come to your mind, to become aware of your need and to express the unmet needs, okay? And try to do the same for other people, to try to project in their complexity. Try to be an actor as well. The key 21 is quite detailed, is about mindfulness. I practice this for more than 10 years now. And actually, this is the fact to be detached, to analyze a scene for which you are an actor, but you are a spectator. For negotiation, for example, when someone is attacking you or, I don't know, rip you off and so on, ripping you off and so on. It's happened to me as a CEO of my company many times, okay? So I try to analyze why it's is increasing, okay, by angriness, and then try to get out of it. The more you observe yourself like this, the less you are victim, the least you are victim, the less you are victim of your emotions, and the more you can manage. If you know martial art, the winner most of the time is the one with a self-control. Why? Because if you are upset, you will try to punch or to have a certain gesture, but you will lose your control. Your mind, you control your breath, and you will try to push hardly, no tactic, no strategy, and you will lose your balance and so on. And this is the same principle. So try to use sometimes when you cannot go through intermediates, okay? Some people, a colleague, a friend of yours, and so on. For this person is diplomat enough to reformulate, to rephrase, okay? And sometimes you can avoid the battle. For example, you didn't want to say that, and you rephrase. You make the person rephrasing, or you synthesize, or you re-explain, and so on. And okay, so you both agree on this point. We do agree? Yes, okay. And then, and you do like this, and you try to discharge step by step. It's part of diplomacy as well, and conflict management. Very important is to listen some people that you don't like, for example. How come? First, you try to feel the person, okay? You try to look at the young boy or the young girl, and you try to see as a human and let's say fragile, okay? Most of the time we have a shell, okay? A shell for which this is ego try to protect itself, okay? Then imagine this person crying, because we are all fragile as well. Imagine this person on, let's say, toilets, okay? Pooing, for example. It's also reduce and make the person more human. Imagine having more compassion towards this person. There is the key 33 about forgiveness, and there is a guided meditation for which, when you do it, most of the time you cry, and people feel really relaxed after that, because we cannot keep this anger all the time. The anger destroy your health and destroy the world. And then try to see the envelope of the ego of the person. Sometimes some people are just showing off, not because they are confident, but because they are not confident. So they show off to try to pretend, okay? To pretend to pee on the corners, you know, like animals, and just to put the territory. And the second phase I invite you is to listen really deeply the content, that's to say the ideas. Try, for example, to laugh with the people when there is a joke. Try to see if it's a politician and so on that you don't like, to try to find something for which you agree, okay? It's impossible to find someone you don't have any one single common idea, okay? It's most impossible. And on the other way around, it's not because you like someone that you adhere to all the same opinion and ideas. Well, let's do a little game for which is more based on detachment, okay? Detachment, and also to try to find arguments in favor or against, okay? The goal is not to give your opinion, but to try to have a projection in the complexity of someone adhering to this idea or against this idea. So obviously, I use this for negotiation and psychology, conflict management, and so on and so forth. These are controversial topics, of course. This is dilemma, systematically. I'm not giving my opinions, I'm just giving some opinions, okay? Try to find 3 arguments for every themes, every topics, in favor and against. So, finding 3 of them for which you are in favor is not difficult, but against is difficult. And on the other end, if you are in against, is easy and to find in favor. For example, first one, put on pause if you want to play the game, and try to do it the more possible, most often possible. Okay. So the first one is for or against the capital punishment, the death sentence. Okay. So in favor, for would be a risk of recurrence. Okay. When someone is doing several times against different people. Second, if you are, it's less costly for society, because who is paying in most of the countries? It's, let's say, the public money, paying for the food and for accommodation and the service and so on. If you are personally committed in it, okay, if for example your daughter has been raped and tortured and killed, you are not objective anymore, and you want probably personally to kill the person. Against, there are risks of mistakes, which is source of injustice, and it's happened in the past. It is easier to die than staying in a jail for 30 years all your life, for example, in just 9 square meters. The prisoner can serve and help society to redeem themselves, for example, when they are participating to projects. Sim 2, for or against abortion. Okay, so for, in favor, would be you have the right to choose the right moment, and some accidents are possible. Another one, in case of rape. Another one would be we are numerous enough on the planet, no need to increase the population. Another one could be if we diagnose an handicap or deformity. If kids are badly educated or abandoned, and so on. Against, a fetus is already existing and living, so it's breaking life. Nowadays, we can be cautious. There are many contraceptives existing. This is bad for women, health, affecting the possibility to have a baby in the future. This is forbidden from a lot of religions. Sim 3, for or against the economical system, the liberalism. Okay, so in favor, it gives the same chance to everybody. Second one, if you work hard, you succeed. The world has never been as safe as now, and it as equal as now compared to the past and history. Against, it is based on a pyramid in which 60 people own more than half of the total population. Our stock market is based on an illusion. The physical money doesn't exist. There is only 5 to 7% of the physical money. there is no regulation in economical system. The system is blind and not human, or money-oriented exclusively, not respectful of nature and mankind. All depends on where you are born, family, education, and origins. And the disparities again amongst people are increasing year by year. The rich are richer and the poor are poorer. Theme 4, for or against democracy and freedom of speech. It is a way to testify of freedom in general and healthy society. Another one would be, it's like brainstorming, improve the ideas and citizen critical sense. Okay, it's a proof of respect of differences in general and different point of view. Against, when you see the misuse like strike taking in a stage other citizen is not fair. Yeah, it's a French guy talking about that. Knowing that strikes and are the national game in France. Anyway, it can affect the stability of rules and bring anarchy. If we see the freedom of speech on social media, it killed a lot of people, kids, riots, raids, murder, pogroms, and so on. Fifth, for against weddings for homosexuals, gays, and lesbians. Okay, if people are happy like this and they love each other, what's the problem? People were born like this is not a disease. Another one, in which extent it could be a problem for others. It's a lack of respect. Sexuality is private. We don't ask to heterosexual what they practice. We are enough on the planet. This is not natural. Nature proves that the fact that having children is with a male and a female gender. Most of the religions reject it. It affects the reproduction of humanity. 6, for or against robotics and automatization. Alors, 4, it's help people in their daily life, a gain of time. We have to adapt ourselves with the evolution of time. If we reach it, is because, and reach the technology is because we transcend the human conditions, and because God allows us. Against, it steals jobs for other people. It makes people dependent on technology. If one day there is a bugs, electricity and so on, our society is collapsing. It makes people more and more lazy, and so on. Theme 7, for or against immigration. It brings, it brings hands to build a country. It brings different culture and vision, thereby enrichment. It makes the country more dynamic with notion of challenge. Against, it brings confusion, loss of identity and safety. It reduces social helps and allowance for native people. It reduces the chance to get a job for native people. 8, against, or for, euthanasia. Okay, so 4, it is, what is the point to suffer if we are condemned? We have the right to live decently, to live decently, sorry. The physical degradation is horrible for a person and for the family. Maintaining someone artificially, like coma, is a torture on long term. Against, life is a struggle. The somatic dimension showed that there is important remission. Some people were condemned of 2 months and then they live decades. This is not natural to choose our death. All religion blame to suicide. 9, for or against the existence of ET or UFO. There is so many testimony around the world, even some member of secret official authorities. It would be a little bit navel-gazing to think that we are alone in a certain stage. We are not, we are not mature enough, and the ET are just afraid to come on Earth. Against, if they are existing, why wouldn't they come and would not be more visible? The scientists never discover any proof of their existence with all the satellites and probes. They would help us or conquer us for many years due to the beauties on Earth. In favor or against the existence of Israel, the country. First, in favor, the Jewish people have suffered and persecuted for many centuries. They needed a peaceful land. Israel is tiny on the map, is like big as Shanghai, so it's not a big deal. Israel brought science, education and environmental prowess in the deserts compared to the neighbors. Israel is threatened by terrorism and neighbors. Israel remains a democracy against the fundamentalism and a Western mentality in this country and area. Against, now, once again, it's not my opinion, it's just some opinions that I took in different places. The local people have been expulsed, deported in of their land without any choice. Another one, pretending Jews were living there 2000 years ago is like if Italians were saying that France is their land because they had the Roman Empire during centuries. By making suffocating the Palestinians around, Israel created the poverty and condition of revolts and terrorism. The Arabs in Israel are representing 20% and they don't have the same right than Jews. Israeli, no military service, despite the fact that it is making the social cohesion. They have no representative people at the Knesset, the government. And the green line in the UN has never been respected in 48. Thereby, there is violation of international. They are not legal. Well, actually, there are tips, if I had to resume, to get to know yourself and your character, never reach and overreact. Try to practice mindfulness. Try to be also aligned, responsible, and actually to be out of duality. Okay, there is no one camp, black and white. There is a rainbow, and try to make the effort. Sorry, to be more aware of the complexity of people. Well, I hope you will, because this is so important. Empathy and communication, nonviolent communication is not a detail, is a springboard to reach a more peaceful society of tomorrow, a new era, a new paradigm. And if we want to do it, we have to build it, we have to teach it, but we have to put into practice right now, not tomorrow, when the galactic will come back and so on. No, it's right now. It's up to us. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Well, I hope it will help you to shape the master key, to open up the doors of consciousness, of love, of whatever you want. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to the Dome and to home. Thank you for your attention and see you very soon.